Right, I'm recording now, so obviously I can't go live. I'm blocked on Facebook, I'm blocked on YouTube. So I'm just going to make this recording and hopefully it'll go out. I'm going to put it all pieced together. I'll try and make it as quick as possible because I know people don't like long videos, but I'm going to put a few little pieces together and hopefully it'll paint you a picture. So first things first, let's just start, because I've been exposing to the fact that, I mean, we know the courts are corrupt, but when you can prove they're corrupt, it should be self-explanatory. So, you know, and especially when we can all hold them to account by simply asking some simple questions and staying as king. Full stop, yeah. And we're all looking for a solution that we can all see, because of the scale of what's going on right now. So, you know, it's starting to hit home to people, so it's great, but it's always great to have something to focus on a point that we can all focus on, we can all understand, and we can all see. So let me just show you something that when I've frozen. I'll just show you something that Anthony shared a while back on Ramola's show. Hopefully this will show you what am I showing? Yeah. Hopefully it's showing this right then. So this should what it's showing. So press relief, death of council tax. This is just one point that I'm picking on the council tax. So the interview that Anthony did on Ramola's show reveals the confession of a court manager on a major court order scam, which shall bring relief and restitution to millions of victims and end the scam forthwith. 101, property 101 Frank Road was stolen using a court fraud. Local authority responsible for the prosecuting illegal evictions. Ironically, the Les are illegally repossessing more properties than all the banks and building societies added together, and are in charge of the police services, making the crime watertight, leaving the councils in the UK with surplus funds in excess of £22 billion. Croydon Council escalate reports to the CEO to the head fraud. The CEO, Nathan Elvery, resigned, went to West Sussex and now is suspended. New chief, Joe Negrini, accused of using funds to cover up complaints. His wife, this is Anthony's talking, by the way, and the wife gets threat of committal to prison based on alleged unpaid council tax and alleged liability orders issued by the court. Alleged, remember, because it's always got to be about alleged. Just because something says something is it doesn't mean that it is it. You know, anybody who makes a claim has has now got the burden of proof. They carry the burden of proof. So if you want to make a claim, you make sure that you have the facts to back it up, to substantiate whatever it is you're claiming. Her partner was already locked up. This is Anthony. Anthony was already locked up illegally in the notorious Wormwood Scrubs prison before making the threat more menacing. So when he took him out of the way and his wife was on his own, he then attacked onto his wife. Offered to settle tender of the Croydon Magistrates Court subject to there being a legitimate court proceedings. By that, what we mean is anybody who's making a court case, have to create the case. They have to create the case themselves before they lay that information in front of a court for the court to issue the proceedings. And when they issue the proceedings, they also issue a case number to that case, and they also create a case management file. Without those, it isn't a case, guys. Okay, so if it doesn't contain what it should have, it isn't what it says it is. So these people may be making these cases up because cases in brackets. Okay, so it's not a case. It looks like a case, and by all intents and purposes, The result will be the same, because you'll still get put in prison. You'll still get your house taken off you, your car taken off you, your child taken off you. But it wasn't a case that did this. This was these corrupt people within inside the system. And I'll lead on to a little bit more onto who it is, you know, who ultimately it is. We know between the light and the dark, people that are light bearers shine the truth, and there's those people that covet and the dark. They're liars, they're deceitful. Basically, you know, when you understand what the word Satan means, you know, don't look at some devil. Satan just means dishonest, lying, dirty, cheating scoundrels, yeah? And we can all be a little devil, can't we? And that's what these people are. And there's a lot of them, and they're all in the positions that you'll see are being pulled up to cover up everything right now, because the masses, the people are awakening now. The people are realizing, you know, it's starting to hit home. They can only keep you under threat for so long. The threat wears off and people start to see what's really going on. So the threat is wearing off, and they're having to put on the pressure, and it's only going to get worse and worse and worse until we clean it up. So the dirt that is within inside the system is going to have to be removed. We're not going to be able to beat the system. The system's there, but the system can be cleaned up, and that's all we're here to do. We need to clean up and remove out them infiltrators, you know, because it's full of it. So offer to settle tender of court of magistrates out back by the court proceedings. Boom, court manager makes full confession. Court manager, now then. So the court manager makes a full concession and exposes a major scam and marks it confidential. Are you listening to this? Right? And I'm going to read you out. You're going to see what it is that what Anthony's talking about here. When all our court documents are public, okay? When all court documents are public. They're telling you it's confidential. All court documents are public, yeah, but they're telling you it's confidential. This is a court manager. That would be because, yeah, they know that they've been caught out, and Anthony has pulled them up on this, yeah. Many activists have exposed the scam before, but now it's from the horse's mouth, straight from the court, straight from the horse's mouth. So no one should ever have to be robbed, jailed, or tortured on false claims to court authority. They're falsely claiming it's court authority. There you see it. If it hasn't got the stamp on it, if the procedure has not been followed correctly, it is not what it's meant to be, you know? You can't go through something and create something without missing things out. If there's things missing, then it's not going to work properly. And it doesn't work properly. If you miss out proceedings when you're in a court, then, you know, it's case dismissed, because it was never a case. The question still lies, why did they not follow the procedure? That means, yeah, that these dark people, what I'm telling you, these dark people in these situations, yeah, that are abusing their authority. They have no authority because they have broke the procedures. If they have broken the procedures, they've broken the law. It's illegal to do what they're doing. They are criminals, outright criminals, and they've been caught out for what they are, right? So no one should ever be robbed against blah, blah, blah. And as a matter of fact, no other false court process shall stand after this. And all past victims must demand restoration, and with aggravated damages, thanks to campaigners like Romola D, in the public, it's taking back control, and the public is taking back control of the e-gang scammers in authority. And the scammers, my friends, are those public servants that are abusing their authority and falsifying the court's authority and falsifying court documentations, which is a crime. These are not court documents. This is not a court. It does not have any authority of the court, and it's all going into the coffers of these private dirty gits in the dark. So, summons for non-payment of council tax. Do not ignore. These are the fines. These are what they're asking for them. Yeah? These are the prices that they're asking for them. So outstanding, you know, that you are liable for outstanding council tax with lawful. This is the document. Yeah, this is the document. Look, you know, these are the documents they're sending out to claim money off people, looking all official. Yeah. failure to pay a total amount or make any arrangement to pay before the court hearing. I mean, they're even calling it a court hearing. If it's not done the correct procedures, how can you call it a court? Because that's not a court hearing, that's a council hearing. This is a council hearing, guys. The council have hired the court building and they're pertaining to be the court. They're not the court. This is the council in pirates. These are pirates or wolves in sheep's clothes, pretending to be and hiring the use of these actors like judges and clerks of the courts and these prostitutes, these solicitors of the Bar Association. These are all lying to you and they're all in on it. And the police are helping them and the council are helping them. And, you know, so it's the police, the Freemasons, you know, whatever it is, whatever it's infiltrated, because people say, oh, there's good Freemasons. Well, listen, there's nothing good comes out of a secret. Yeah. If it's, you know, I'm into transparency. So we'll just carry on with this. This will be like then. So before the court hearing will result in the issuing of the liability order. So the court hearing is trying to say that the court's going to be issuing a liability order, which will incur further costs payable by you. This will give the council the power. Oh, so this will now give the council the power. Hang on. This is the council now giving the council the power, not the courts, by the way. You're going to see that, right? Yeah. So sending an enforcement agent to attend your home will, with the intention of removing goods to sell, an additional cost of 500 quid. So this is what they're going to pay these dirty little bailiffs to go around and do it. But the bailiffs, you know, can you blame them? Well, yeah, because they should make sure that what they're doing, yeah, is genuine and authentic and has the true authority of the court. Otherwise, if it hasn't got the authority of the court, it's got no authority, period. And therefore, they're participating in a crime. So let's go through to it. So here you go. This is from Camberwell Green Magistrates Court. So thank you for your email, which I received on the 19th of the 12th, 2018 from Jenny, based at the HMCTS Customs Service Investigation Team. I am very sorry to hear about your Croydon Council tax issue and the fact that we at Croydon Magistrates Court have not been able to resolve this matter to your satisfaction. Hence, you have escalated it and it has now been brought to our attention. Well, it was already at their attention, yeah, but they chose to ignore it. So we had to escalate it and take it to get them to start to listen, because they don't want to answer to any of this. But this piece, we found an honest one. Although they're not being honest, completely honest, and saying, you know, this is a crime, this is complete fraud, but that is what they are saying. I notice from the paperwork you have supplied that this matter took place on the 3rd of the 5th, and you made your complaint at Croydon Magistrates Court by emails on the 26th of the 7th, and again on the 28th of the 9th, and again on the 15th of the 12th, 2018. I gather from the paperwork you sent to us on the 26th of the 7th and the 28th, you stated that you received a sheet of paper, correct, just a piece of paper, because the court is the paper, yeah? And you call it a court, yeah, if that paper is authenticated and it's come through the process, yeah, and due process has been followed, yeah, to create a case. Because if the paperwork has not been laid in front of a court for them to issue the proceedings to that piece of paper to make it court, to make it now a court, yeah, and give it a case number and a case number file, it's not a court, it's just a piece of paper. Okay, so this is how they trick you with these pieces of paper, because they look real. Didn't that one look real? That one looked real, didn't it? I mean, that looks real, doesn't it? That looks real. That looks real, look. That looks real, you know, and that's got all these people thinking that that's real. But that wasn't from the court. So, yeah. So you received a sheet of paper in which was titled, summoning you to attend court for a hearing on the 29th of the 5th, 2018. You also stated that you have never been served with any proceedings issued by the court. As such, you were asking the court to confirm if the court issued the proceedings against you. Genuine, logical question, isn't it? Is this piece of paper, I've got a piece of paper, it says it's come from you. Did you issue it? Did you serve me this? Is this the proceedings to a court case? Is there a case number to it? Is there a caseman file to this? Is it genuine? Is it authentic? Does it have the authority of the court? So I have investigated this matter, proceeding against you, hence you were never received any paperwork from the court. The paperwork you received was from your local authority, which is Croydon Council. So there you go, guys. That is the council putting on its wolf's clothing, yeah, putting on the wolf's clothing, pretending to be the court. Now the council is pretending to be the court. So you've seen it there, the paperwork's from the court, from the council, sorry, but they're alleging it to be the court. That's counterfeit. Right, confidential. Yeah, we know why you're confidential in it, don't you? Every local authority in England and Wales have an agreement with the court to use the court. Every local authority. This is your councils, by the way, people. Yeah, every local authority in England and Wales have an agreement with the court to use the court facilities and premises to deal with their council tax issues. So get that into your heads. You've never been taken to court for your council tax. Everybody out there that's been taken to court for a council tax, I've just lied. I've just lied by saying you got took to a court. You got took to a court building, but you didn't get taken with a court, with the paperwork official from the court that was issued to the proceedings. Yeah. There's the proceedings that were issued to the information that the council must have laid to the court for them to serve those. So it's never come from the court, guys. This is the council putting in on the courts buildings and sending out this information as though they are the court. They're not the court. They have no authority. And all you have to do is ask the simple question for the court who's claiming that, well, there's no documents. They're coming from the court, yeah? Well, no, they're not. They're not coming from the court, but they are, but they're not. No, they're not. They might be coming from the court only because the council's hired the building and they're sending it from the court, but it's not coming from the court, right? Nothing's from the court. So the council summons their client to court. Why are you calling it a court? Why don't you just call it a court building? Because it's not a court, okay? So the council summons their client to the court using the summons for non-payment of council tax form, which is generated by the council and not the court. Their practice is to get their client to meet them and discuss their council tax issues and how best to assist their clients. If they are unable to resolve the matter, then they ask their client if they would want their case to be put before a court, for a judge in a court. Right. Amazing that, because that didn't look like it, did it? That's just saying you've got to pay it. That's just saying you owe this. But anyway, we'll go back to that. So Croydon Magistrates Court have not issued any proceedings against you. Hence, the court has not contacted you, nor served you with any notice of proceedings. Secondly, for the summons paperwork you sent in, you would notice that it states account reference 21 blah blah blah. The Magistrates Courthouse does not list cases by using account reference numbers. The court list, no, because they're court case numbers, and court case numbers are case numbers to a caseman file. Reference numbers are just reference numbers, they're nothing. The court lists cases by using case numbers, correct. I have done an extensive check on, and your name is not coming up on our court system. you would need to contact your local authority, which is Croydon Council, for them. Blah, blah. If you are still unhappy, then you seek legal advice from any solicitor. And I don't want you to go see a solicitor. Yeah. Please do not hesitate to contact me again for the above telephone number should you have any further inquiry. And this was from a Yvonne Mambu. Okay. So there you go. That's straight from the horse's mouth then, yeah? So I'm going to go into, I'll go into one more because my friends has just sent a post on Facebook. So and I clicked on it. It was Greek, but I translated it. It's translatable in English, right? So this was a case here. In fact, actually, before I go to that, let me go to this. Let me show you what also Anthony's been doing. Because here's Cressida Dick. This is the UK, remember. Here's Cressida Dick, yeah, in warrant scams, right? So this is Cressida Dick. Now, who are these people? Who's their bosses, yeah? This is what you've got to get to. And nitty gritty, who's running all these scumbags, yeah? Because these are all being controlled by somebody, yeah? So there's Cressida Dick in warrant scams, and she's gone on, John, and there's Anthony, and there's many others. Here we've got Attorney General in massive court order scams. That's the Attorney General, yeah? And I dare say the others as well, right, yeah? And then we've got here, which is the A to Z of the COVID 1984 scam, which shows you the fines for this COVID. I'll put that in brackets, for this COVID that are going to a private limited company. You know, they're limited companies, and the limited company owners were from Lancaster, and Andrew Rhodes was one of those people. And I hear that Gez has put him on notice, and I also know that he was already on notice before with Carol Woods, who they again used the council, who Carol Woods was exposing the council for paedophilia, because she was a child. She was a social worker, social care. You know, she was working in the social services, and she reported the councils, the people, these Freemasons in the council, with children, yeah, doing things with children. So the council, who she had been reporting on, used the courts. Again, used the court buildings, using the court's authority when it didn't have any authority, to create a piece of paper, just a piece of paper, that was an alleged warrant, wasn't a warrant, yeah, and woe and behold, the police, yeah, I'll put that in brackets, the police then enforce these counterfeit, fraudulent, fake warrants, and they enforced it, and that's how they disappeared Carol Woods, because this is what they do. You can't report on these people. Look what's happened to John Paterson. John Paterson, he was reporting them all. What did they do to him? They caught him in exactly the same thing. They got him, they stuck him in front of a court, was meant to be in front of a court, again, in brackets. However, that court didn't exist. There is no paperwork. There were some pieces of paper. But they weren't caught. They never had, there was no due process followed. There was no caseman file. There is no caseman file. There's no record of it. There's no case numbers. I've given the numbers that it was given. They was just reference numbers. And because John went in there and didn't realise what the trick was, he went in there and he spoke, and boom, they locked him up. So these are the things that they're doing. So I'm going to try and flip. So I don't want to make this one long. So let me just go. I'm going to read you now this one about in Greece now, because again, it's hard to see it when you get it in newspapers, because they won't report to the fact of the actual scam of the courts. You know, these courts are, you know, this is where everyone's trying to get justice, but no one can ever get any justice because there is no courts, or the courts that are there are operating in fraud. And because the people don't realize and think, they wouldn't do that, would they? Really? I'm showing you, this is 100% fact. Yes, they do. Yes, they are. And here is a guy, Alex Kougaze, finally takes over the Lignity case. He calls the witnesses of the case professional homosexuals. He talks about alleged rape, right? With the, I mean, on I mean, it says homosexuals here, but we also understand on the gay side of things, like, yeah, there's a lot. It's not just you know, because they're not an issue, but in amongst all of that, we do know there's a lot of paedophilia and stuff like that, and that's what they prey on, yeah. And these people are just sick, deprived people. We're not talking. I'm not going anything. I'm not talking about normal, you know, normal in the terms of like what would be classed as someone that was gay, some, you know, a man liking a man or a woman liking a woman and transgender. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about certain people in those things, yeah, are doing it with animals and kids and all sorts, and that is sick, that is deprived, and these are the people that I'm talking about, and these are why they get that grip and bond against each other, yeah, and they are very tight, yeah. So with a direct attack on his personality, of the witnesses and alleged victims, the lawyer, Alex Kougays, announces that he will finally undertake the defense for Dimitris Lignadis. Sorry for the name if I'm getting it wrong. In a lengthy post, he states that the lawsuits included gross lies and unreliable personalities. I mean, don't forget, guys, as well, this is Greek and it's been translated into English, so the translation may not be the best. Yeah. While he does not hesitate to touch on the personalities of the witnesses, as for the so-called witnesses who allegedly confirm the facts, they are professional homosexuals who, as a profession, have their paid coexistence with the corresponding homosexuals, and a 40-year-old lady who confesses that she was incurably in love and had a sexual relationship with Mr. Lingdadis. Right, and finally, he states that he will ask his client to apologize on Thursday before an investigator. His statement in details. A few hours ago, I received in my hands the copies of the case file. Here we go, guys. So now this is a casement file. Remember, if it's a case, there's a case file to it, right? This is actually got a case file to it, right? A lot of the cases, there's not even going to be a case file, okay? There's not going to be a computer printout of this file, okay? Most of them, all the ones that I've come across don't even have a case file, okay? But here, he has a case file, and you're going to see, because he's got a case file, yeah, because remember, at the beginning, whoever it is asking the court to step in, yeah, and to use the court's authority, they have to make their case, yeah, and then they lay that information in front of the court, yeah, and then the court issues the proceedings of it, yeah. They have to do it in triplicate, you know, one for the, you know, but the thing is they have to lay that information, and when the court issues the proceedings, yeah, to that, they create a case number and a casement file, and that keeps a full record of the whole case from A to Z, from the beginning to the end. Yeah, it keeps everything, all other correspondence, emails, telephones, anything to do with that case is all kept within inside the case file. Okay, just to let you know what a case file is, right? So, which was formed by the Athens Prosecutor's Office against the leading actor, director, and former director of the National Theatre of Greece, Mr. Dimitris Lignadis. So this is a question on this, but remember his translation, so I'm not too sure, because the prosecutor's office, if that's like the CPS, Crime Prosecution Services, which are lawyers, yeah, they're not the court. So how can they make a case file? So that's not a court case file, or if it is a case file, it's debatable, right? But let's class it as that is a court case file, and it was the prosecutors that laid the information, yeah, for the court to issue the proceedings and create the case file. So this is the case file that I'm trying to talk about. So it was expected that the contents of the case file would have evidence justifying the prosecution of the crime of serial rape against him. So he was charged of serial rape, as well as the issuance of an arrest warrant. So he was also arrested, and there was an issue of an arrest. So an arrest warrant was issued. Now, obviously, if an arrest warrant's issued, then obviously the court is the court must issue it. Yeah, the court, because the prosecution can't do it. The council can't do it. It's the court issues the warrant. Yeah, so a procedural act providing for, in extreme cases, when the prosecutors and the judges presume two conditions. So the reason why they would make a warrant, is the first is for the perpetrator to be accused of an illegal behavior that it is taking place now. So if that crime is actually happening right now, they get an arrest warrant out to go and arrest you. Yeah, right then. The latter is highly probable, either his disappearance or his departure abroad. In other words, or he can run off. So he's going to run away. Okay. I was unpleasantly surprised to find that the case file does not contain any of them, which I have been accustomed to for almost 5 decades. 5 decades, so 50 years. So he's been accustomed to this for 5 decades. When proceedings are instituted, such as those which were activated in a flash against Mr. So obviously what they're trying to say is this is like wow, this is like up as a flat, boom, boom, let's get it done. Yeah. So the court's all in on it, right? Yeah. Okay. So the court, there's a lot of people in on this against this guy for some reason, and these sick people have got something in them. I don't know what he's done. I don't even know the man. I've never even heard the man before, but you can see that they've got a lock on this guy. Yeah. They want him disappeared. They want this man disappeared. Yet, let's just continue. In the case file, there are 2 lawsuits written by lawyers. Yeah, written by lawyers. Surely, you have when somebody's got a case, if somebody's making a case, by the way, in that information that must be laid in front of the court, there's got to be either an affidavit, made under the penalty of perjury and signed, or it's got to be a police statement made under caution that's been signed. Not witness, not lawyers. This is by the accuser. Who's accuser? The lawyers, the prosecuting lawyers. They should nothing to do with them. But anyway, we'll go on. Right then, one plaintiff lives permanently in Sweden, and the other states that he was a model. All right, who in fact do not describe anything to the detriment of Mr. Lindegradt. So neither of these people have said anything bad about him, nor to his detriment. But for some reason, they've locked him up in all this lot. But we wouldn't have known that if we hadn't seen this case file, I'll take it. Right. And as soon as you read what they describe, you realize that they are gross lies, by unreliable personalities. As for the so-called witnesses who allegedly confirm facts, they are professional homosexuals. So actors as well, I take it because we'll go into this, who as a profession have their paid coexistence with the corresponding homosexuals and a 40-year-old lady who confesses that she was incurably in love and had sex with Mr. Lindegradt whilst she was engaged, and whose personality is known in the theatre. So they're actors, details of which we will highlight in our apologetic memorandum, and what we will apologize to Mrs. Investigator. Not sure what that means. Remember, it has been translated from Greek into English, so there could be bits lost in translation. It should be noted that the alleged victims and alleged rapists who testify before any act which they allegedly call rape and allegedly had an affair with Mr. Lindegas for a long period of time, for a long time. I am surprised that this pre-investigation and investigative material, the presumption of innocence against my unfortunate client, was so severely violated. Criminal charges were brought against him without him being called to give an explanation. So he wasn't even given a chance to defend himself. To the chief prosecutor, and an arrest warrant was issued without a warrant. Completely illegal process. So they've, again, there was an arrest warrant that wasn't an arrest warrant, people. Just like Carol Woods had. That was an arrest warrant, yeah? There wasn't a warrant for her, but it wasn't a warrant, it was a piece of paper because it had no authority from the court. So they're falsifying it. So it's no different in Greece than it is in England, and I dare say in any of the countries. And all these foreign vessels in dry dock, the people of lever courts, are all being falsified to use their and abuse their power and to falsify the authority of the court when they have never given it out. And they're double dipping, mate. They're double dipping. They're a little private pot, and all these funds are going in it. I'd like to see whether the court filing fees were even paid, because I bet you that isn't even inside that in that case file, but it must be. I have been a defence attorney for almost 5 decades. I know that unfortunately many times criminal cases are deliberately fabricated. There you go. Finally, we get a lawyer that's honest. Deliberately fabricated. Do you understand? That to me means, yeah, that there was never a case. It was a complete fabrication. It was a complete counterfeiting and forgery of the documents pertaining to be court and pertaining to have the authority of the court. So he's known it for ages, yeah, which are often the means of business and political interests. Case of the late Vrentzos, 3 days before the 2004 elections. Richard's case on the eve of the 2019 elections. And I want to make it known to everyone that the case with this legal barbarity against the Greek citizen is aimed at Mrs. Mendoni, who is the only minister responsible for unblocking the huge investment in Elenico, in order to overcome the obstacles of supposed archaeological finds and finally complete this huge investment. So they're using the court. I mean, look at that, 4 days before the court, yeah, 4 days before the election. So they're using these courts, they're using the courts to fraudulently, yeah, and corruptly pertain to be a court when they're not. And they're making up cases to disobey whistleblowers. They're making these court cases up to steal people's children, to steal people's houses, to stop people from getting in the election. Everything, anything they want to do, anyone who's in their way or has got something that they want, they can use these buildings that people believe to be courts, yeah, and they can falsify them and do what they want. And there you go. There's a what's it. But let me just go, I'm just going to go back in because I did this before, but I'm just going to show you something else here. All right. So let me just show you something else, right? Right then. Right. So I'm not gonna mention names because I'm giving false information, but this is Google. So I'm going to translate that from English into Latin. So here we go. So I'm now going to translate what it translated into back into English, which is that. Yeah. I'm going to translate that back into that. I'm going to keep flicking it around. And now it's saying that. So I'm going to translate that back into that. right? And I'm going to clone that back into that. Right, okay. And I'm going to translate that back, and I'm going to change that back. Right. So what we started off with, right, yeah, ends up being that. Okay. So right, I'm just going to do another one then for you as well. I'm just going to do this other one for you, yeah, because remember, right, yeah, there's a lot of people, yeah. Who is it? Who is it that's doing all this, yeah? Is it the people with the money? Is it the bankers? You know, I'm not religious, yeah. I'm not religious in the sense. I believe God and Christ, whatever the Christ consciousness is within inside us all. Okay. I'm not saying anything else because I don't see. I can only speak for the facts. You know, I've met myself, and I believe that like a drop out of the ocean. Yeah, the drop of water isn't the ocean, and I'm not God, but I would certainly, you know, I would say that I'm like a drop in the ocean, and I'm a photon of the light of the Creator. I'm a part. We're of the all. I'm of the all. Yeah. So let me just say this then. So we'll go for this one then. Let's have a look at that. Oh my God! Hang on, it's changed. I knew they'd change it. Right? Okay. They've changed it. I've done it. I'm glad I recorded it earlier. They've obviously seen me what I've done. Yep, they've changed it. Yep, they've changed it. They've changed it. They've changed it. This one's right. I'm just going to show you on here then. There. I'm going to show you here. Right. Let me go back a bit, because I knew when I'd picked it out they'd change it. Oh. I'll just go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. There you go. Now look at the difference. Because when I did it earlier, this is when I did it earlier, yeah? Quarantine. So let me play it from there, so you can see what happens. Tempest time to observe their health plan. Their health plan. Who's there? Is that us people? Time to observe their health policy. Time to observe. Plan is policy, by the way. Their health policy. Okay. I showed that earlier in this video. Let's see what time to observe their health policy is in Latin. And that is a time to observe their health council. Okay, so time to observe their health council is now from the time when the Jews will make use of the plan of salvation. Salvation also being safety. Now, this has now been taken off. Just to show you how quick. This was only yesterday I did this. Somebody pointed it out the first point, but I just continued to translate. I just continued to translate the translations, and this is the story it told you. Now, from the time when the Jews will make use of the plan of the policy of safety. Safety is salvation. Now, from the time when the Jews will make use of the policy of safety. So that should tell you exactly what it is. And I'm going to point to the next point when it comes to it. And now you're going to see who's they? Who's that? You know, when they're using all their puppets, right? Now remember, I'm not saying this about the Jews, yeah, because I'm not saying it's about the Jews. What I'm going to say it is this, yeah. I'm going to say it's about, because I'm not going to call them Jews. I'm not going to call. I'm not going to give names to anything, yeah. But I do know in the Bible, yeah, that they said that because I mean Jesus was meant to be a Jew, was he not? And there was also be those people that said there was Jews, but they're not Jews. They were the synagogue of Satan. Now, when you look at what Satan is, and I can do that, I'll show you what Satan is in a minute, because Satan isn't a thing, mate. Satan is just a way. It's a lying, deceit, and dirty, and all those other things. It's greed, and you know. So these are the Satanists. These people that don't have empathy. These dark people. They're not dark as in colour. You know, I'm not talking about white and black here. I'm talking about light and dark. I'm talking about, you know, people that are greedy, don't care, don't care about whether they kill you or not. All they want is money. Yeah. So, okay, let's see what that is. So that translates to that. So click that back. Now at the time when you use them in the policy of safety by the Jews. So, as we know, the dark side, yeah, we know the deep state, the New World Order, the cabal, the dark side of things, the shadow government, whatever you want to call it, yeah. We know they've infiltrated in the positions all over. They've taken the courts, they've infiltrated the police, Freemasons, they've infiltrated the whole lot, yeah. So ultimately, yeah, these, whoever they are, yeah, quarantine, according to this, is like, bingo, time to do it, guys. I mean, whether you think this is a pandemic, whether you want to think this is genocide, whatever you want to see this as, yeah, is up to your own up to yourself. I'm not going to say either way, because if I do, it will just get blocked off it. I'm just presenting you some simple points for you to understand. And I will point out something else, because Mark Christian Crystal did something. He showed something else. He put a document out there, and I'm going to show you that document too at the end of this. So who would that be then? The people that are making money from this quarantine? And this so-called thing that nobody's seen yet. I won't do that because I was talking about that, because this is one that got blocked off. So basically, yeah, I mean, you've got the likes of Matt Hancock. The newspapers will talk about how much money he made from promoting, well, because he'd invested into companies that was gonna make him loads of money. He was stead to make loads of money from the vaccines, and so were many other people. And vaccines is a different ball game again, because I mean, that's another equation, but I'm not going to go into that. But let me try, and I'll just mute that one out, and I'll play it so I'm not talking. So I'll wait till it goes and it flicks over. I want to show this one again, because go on, get down there, flick it over, flick it over, flick it over, cool. Flick, flick, flick. So I can see what comes next. I'm so glad I've recorded it now, because now I've noticed it's gone. I didn't think it'd last long. You know what I mean? As soon as, but they do these things, you see. They put the information out there for you to see. They put the information out there for you to see, and then they remove it. So it's been given you, so that they can never say that you didn't have the chance to see it. Now is the time when to use your salvation from the Jews, from those in the design. Let's go to the next one. Let's move it along a bit further. Go to it. And it's now, since man's salvation is from the Jews, to use it in the counsel of. I believe that was it. So anyway, it tells a story. It tells you a story, yeah? I believe it tells you a story anyway. Whether you care to see the story for what the story was, That was vaccine, believe it or not, when it comes up as a vaccine. Here we go. This is the document. This was from Mark Christian, who'd told me, well, he showed it in one of his videos of the day. But I just wanted to point out one thing on here for you to know that this is from the 14th of May 2012, yeah. And I just wanted to point out something here, because it's from the church and how the land grabs and all this lot and what these people are. Because I mean, the Jesuits and so on and so forth, like this is from church land banks of captured baptized souls. I'm sure you all know about the birth certificate, and what the birth certificate is, the bond, and how they've stole your soul in a sense, because they've created another you, or your legal fiction to your placenta. Yeah, and they stole you. This is from Pope Benedict, and that which was the white Pope, and you've also got the black Pope here on as well. I just wanted to point out something here. Right? Permanent named debtors and forfeit of public and private bonds, aka preferred and common stock. Now, your birth certificates are bonds, okay? So if you call yourself your name on the birth certificate, guys, you are actually stating you're a bond, yeah? Okay? So that's what they've actually done to you. And this is what these dirty kids have done. And just choose, I just want you to look at this. Just want you to look at that. If you don't think you're slaves, yeah? And it's just, I mean, who else calls you the chosen Goyim? Chosen Goyim, aka tax slaves. So anyway, I'll just let you, I'll flick through this document so that you can see it and read it yourselves. Okay. So you can actually see what these I'm not too sure how big this document is actually. I'm not sure how clear this will come through to you as well, Mark, but not too sure. There you go, that's the end of it. No, it ain't, it's still spinning. There you go. And there you can see who is involved with all this. You can see again. There you go. So I'll just stop that there. I could go, I was going to go into doing the etymology of the other words, because I was also doing vaccine, believe it or not. When you Googled vaccine, it came with hepatitis. Oh man, when you live, I mean, I don't know, it's all changed now. Let me just go back to Google, just do Google again. Let me just see if it still changed it, because I can't believe they've changed it so quick. I can't believe they've changed it so quick. Yeah, they changed it. Changed it already. They changed quarantine to fortify, but you see it there, yeah. It wasn't that before. They've taken it off. So anyway, the time now is 23:23, and on the 23rd. Well, there you go, synchronicity. God bless. That's 23rd of February, sorry. 23rd of February, 23:23, or in the UK, 23 minutes past 9. Okay, God bless. Bye-bye for now.